Hello everyone. So we've got this brand new item in the shop. They're called cut files. These are files that Jane created for the embellishments that you purchase in the digital collections. So what you find in these files are, for instance, let's say if you purchase the Savannah collection, you get the digital embellishments and you can either hand cut them or you can use a Cricut, a Silhouette, Brother Scan and Cut, etc. machine to cut these out, right? So some of these machines are very temperamental and you cannot, they don't read the image properly. So Jane made these files, which we call cut files, and it's the silhouette of the image that you open up, you place it over this file, yada, 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 and you cut it, right? So there is instruction on how to do this in the folders, but Jane wanted to put together an instructional video showing you step by step by step on how to do that. So she's going to take you through this process on how to use the cut files that you purchase from the Paper Phenomenon website with your digital collection. So each collection has its own cut file in the shop. All right, so remember what you're purchasing, once again, for the cut files are the silhouettes that corresponds to the images or embellishments that you find in the digital collection that you've purchased previously. All right, so let's say if you want to purchase, right now I can't think of one, fairies and fireflies. You don't want to hand cut the embellishments. Your scan and cut is not doing a really good job cutting these images out. You go on my website, you can purchase the cut file for the fairies and fireflies, and you can use the file. So without further ado, let's take a look at Jane in action.
I'm going to demonstrate how to use the SVG cut files with Cricut Design Space. So the first thing you want to do is upload your image the way you normally do, and I'm going to be using The Haunting. So I'll upload my image and then click Continue. Here I'm not going to remove any of the background, I'm just going to apply and continue. And then I'm going to choose Flat Graphic and then Upload. Okay, so it comes in really large. You can check over here on the right. If you click on this little red circle with the exclamation mark, there's an option to auto resize the image. So click that and it will scale it down. Then the next thing you're going to do is upload the SVG file that matches it. So you do the same process again, and I'm choosing the embellishment 1 SVG file, and I'm just going to click continue and upload, and it'll come in on your canvas. What I discovered is that while it's grouped together, if you choose guide, it will remove the fill, and that way you can line it up a lot easier than with the fill in place, because you can actually see the image through it. I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to hold my space bar and drag with my left mouse button so that I can pan around, and then I'm going to choose the SVG file, the grouped file, and I'm going to use the bounding box in the corner to drag the cut lines until they match up with the images. And that looks pretty good on most of them except for this one and this one. So I'm going to ungroup, or I'm going to choose the ones that I want to just use individually. Actually, I've chosen the grouping and I'm going to ungroup them. And now if I click on this one, I can drag it over a little bit, and this one, scale it down a little bit until I like how it looks. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more and pan again, and it looks like there's a little bit of an edge around the black, so I'm going to just make this a little bit bigger so that it cuts away from the black line, and I like how that looks. I'm going to pan over to this one, and I'm going to choose this one and move it just a little bit to the right with my arrow key. Okay, that looks good. And then this one I'm going to do the same. And that looks pretty good to me. Actually, this one, there. And this one. I'm going to make just a little bit smaller. There. And this one a little bit smaller. So you can tweak as much as you want. If you don't mind a little bit of white, then you can, you don't have to tweak as much as I do, but I like to have really precise cuts. All right, so now I'm going to double click down here to get back to 100%, and I'm going to choose the SVG files again and group them together again by right clicking on the grouping and choosing group, and then I'm going to put this back to a basic cut. Okay, so now you need to send the SVG files to the back, and you can do that by highlighting the group and just dragging down with your left mouse button so that it is underneath the image. And then you're going to choose both, and you're going to flatten. The flatten icon is in the bottom right corner. So now that they're flattened, you can send them to print. So you're going to choose make, and then you're going to do your usual print and cut procedure. So I'm going to continue, and I'm going to send to printer. It's going to tell you that it's got some sensor marks added. Check your settings to make sure that everything is correct, and go ahead and print. And then it'll ask you to verify. Go to your printer and make sure everything printed correctly. And if it is, you can click done. If it isn't, then you go back and reprint it. So then the next step would be to cut. And since I don't have a machine connected, I can't see that next step. But you should know your machine and your software. So it's basically just the usual cut instructions, and that's it. So now I'm going to just cancel this and go back and cancel, and we're back to the desktop. If you want to just cut one of the images, then you can use the shapes to slice. So I'm going to unflatten this, and I'm going to move my image out of the way. And if you use a shape like a rectangle, you can slice out one of the images. So I'm going to cover the entire image, and then I'm going to choose the image and the square, and down at the bottom in the right corner you can see slice. So if you click slice, it will then slice that image away from the rest of them. So you can delete this, delete this, delete this. You can ungroup these and then just choose the one, turn it back into a guide. Oh, I made it too small. Control Z. Line it up. Actually, let's get rid of all these first. Just clicking and deleting. I want the image to be underneath, and then I'm going to zoom in. Pan, and I'm going to zoom in and line everything up. Oh, I don't want both chosen. I just want the cut file chosen. So I'm going to zoom in and make my adjustments. Turn that back into a guide. Oh, sorry, turn that back into a cut. Basic cut. Send it to the back. Choose them both and then flatten, and you can make it as big or as little as you want. Well, within the guides of what Cricut allows. So let's make it really big, and then we'll get this exclamation mark, auto resize, and then send to make. And you can see that's really nice and big, so you can play around with your SVG files that way. And that's it. So have fun.